Blessings Bakhanyiselwa. Welcome back to our classes. Today we are continuing with the mysteries of the sacred cloths, and we are talking about this cloth right here, the ancestral cloth, which is a snake cloth. The snake cloth is a very powerful cloth, and really the snake is an ancient form of symbology. This cloth right here is for those initiates who are gifted healers. These initiates are the type of healers that heal specifically with energy. These healers do not use herbs. There is a cloth for those healers who only use healing herbs. This specific cloth right here is for the energy healers, abantu abalapha ngomoya, or even abantu abalapha ngedlozi. The serpent is a symbol of idlozi, so these people use this idlozi to heal people. The healers of this cloth are the Sangoma and they are the Sanusi. The Isangoma and the Isanusi are actually connected. These two initiates belong to the same lineage and their mysteries are the same. Isangoma by definition is a person of song. She is a drum person. Ingoma means song or drum. So Isangoma is one who uses the drum and song in order to raise the umoya, in order to heal people. It is the same with Isanyusi. The word Isanyusi means the uplifter. He who uplifts people from their deathbeds. He does this by raising the spirit. Isanyusi selapha ngokunyusa umoya ukuze sinyuse abantu abagulayo. So both Isangoma and Isanyusi are healers and they can heal people using energy. The only difference between these two is the levels which they represent. This depends on the mystery school. There is a mystery school of initiates who are Isanusi. They call themselves Sanusis, but to them, being a Sangoma is the highest level of Isanusi. This mystery school is connected to the mystery schools of Tibet among the Buddhists, who also say that Isangoma is the highest level of an initiate, or it is the highest level that an initiate can attain. They call these high healers the Sangha. Then there's another mystery school of Sangomas. To them, being a Sanusi is the highest level that a Sangoma can attain. This is why Kredo Mutwa said a Sanusi is a souped up Sangoma. By this he meant that a Sanusi is the highest level of Ubungoma. This particular school is the one that is connected to the mystery schools of the East among the Hindu initiates. These initiates also regard Isanyusi as the highest level an initiate can attain. They call these high initiates the Sannyasin. So the Isanusi and the Isangoma are the same thing. The Sanusi says Isangoma is the highest and the Sangoma says Isanusi is the highest. This was a deliberate setup. The Abakhanyiselwa made this on purpose. As a result, when the Isangoma comes across an Isanusi, the Sangoma will think the Sanusi is the master and the Sanusi will think the Sangoma is the master. In this way, both will be humbled by the other, and at the same time, both will be respected by the other as a master. In this way, also, both can easily learn from each other, right? Because they both regard each other as masters, and they both regard themselves as students in a way. Right, so they both regard themselves as masters and students at the same time. So the initiates of this cloth are those who are called to be Izangoma and Izanusi. They are the Reiki healers, the Seiki masters, those who heal people directly with energy. These initiates are also known as Abantwana Bengulu, the children of the sacred sickness. They are the sick healers. They are the sick initiates. Usually before they become initiates, they get very sick, such that they can't be helped by doctors or any other Western medicine. And then after, they are taken to a healer who probably had the same sickness, and this is when they get their help. The only cure or treatment for their sacred sickness is initiation. This happens because they work with umbilini, the kundalini, and this energy is actually very intense. It is power itself. When this energy gets activated in a body that is not prepared, the body is bound to break down, and this is when you get sick. Then when you go to a gobela, they will prepare your body to make it compatible with the radiations of umbilini, the high radiations of the kundalini. So as the body is being prepared, the sickness will automatically go away. But the sickness didn't go away really. It's just that their bodies are now well prepared for the intense energy of the kundalini. The mysteries of the healers are actually very deep, because this sickness is part of their initiation. So one way or the other, these healers have to be sick. This is their first lesson in their journey of healing. They have to know how it feels to be sick so that they can be compassionate healers. They should understand sicknesses in such a way that they have to experience being sick, to a point that those who had this calling or who have this calling but they were never sick were deliberately made to be sick by their teachers, so that they can understand the mind, the feeling, and the experience of being sick. The Kundalini energy is a very powerful force. It can actually make you sick, and it can also kill you if your body is not prepared. So those initiates who are working to activate their umbilini must make sure that they also prepare their body. Looking at this cloth, we also see the symbol of the serpent. The serpent on this cloth represents the energy, and the zigzag is not just a pattern, right? It is also a symbol of water. It is an ancient symbol of water, and it is an ancient symbol of the serpent. And more specifically, it's the symbol of energy, and water itself is a symbol of energy. It is a manifestation of energy. Water is energy. So the serpent on this cloth is the symbol of the kundalini, umbilini, the boiling force. The fact that this serpent is raised means that the kundalini is activated. On the other hand, when the serpent is lying down flat, it symbolizes an unawakened spirit. It means the spirit is sleeping. Since the serpent is lifted, or it's rising, like we see on this cloth, it means that the spirit has been awakened. The umbilini has been activated. In the Bible, Jesus says in John 3 verse 14, "And as Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness, so must the Son of Man be lifted up." That is exactly what the initiates who wear this cloth do. They lift up the serpent by awakening the umbilini, the umoya first, and then they heal you. They raise the spirit within them, and then they take the illness, the sickness, the sickness from you. After that, they heal themselves. We've spoken about such healing before when we spoke about the mystery of the body. This cloth is actually eyabafembi, those who are able to heal people through energy while at the same time under a trance. Then after the moya has awakened, yes, they start to heal you. Their gift of ukfemba works in many ways, right? They can simply touch you, right, and you are healed. They can take your sickness away by hugging you, right? They can sniff your sickness out of your body and spit it out. They can do a lot of things with their bodies to heal people. These initiates can also use certain objects to transfer their healing energy to a sick person, like the elders of Khem who used ankhs to heal people. So these people are also connected to the Ankh. They use the Ankh as a symbol of life and as an instrument of healing, not as a symbol of umlente munye like the seers, although the seers can also use the Ankh to project the power of their eye. The Sanusi uses the Ankh to project the power of umbilini, the kundalini. This is the mystery behind the symbol of the Ankh and the umbilini. When the Sangoma raises the umbilini, she has to ank her kundalini energy and use it to heal people. In this case, the anking of this energy happens in the body. So the body is used as an ankh, which is exactly what these healers do. They ank their energy. That is why the ankh that has a serpent is also one of their sacred symbols. Basically, the ankh that has an eye is a symbol of the seer. The ankh with a coiled serpent is the sacred symbol of the Sanusi. The serpent is an ancient and a modern symbol of healing. Even hospitals use this symbol, right? The coiling serpent is the symbol of the healers for both ancient and modern healers, and for both traditional healers and Western doctors. This is because all healing and sicknesses come from these two forces of umbilini, the force of Ralihu and Rabophelo. I've mentioned this before, and this is the mystery for all healing and sicknesses. It is the secret of secrets. All healing and sicknesses come from the balance between the force of umbilini, the force of Ralihu and Rabophelo. That is why the beginning of the healing journey begins with the sacred sickness, which is a direct experiential lesson about these two forces, such that the law of the healer demands that one has to deliberately make themselves ill so that they can understand what it means to be sick. Being a healer is a very heavy burden indeed, because some of these initiates do not fully recover from the sacred sickness. Even when they are healed, sometimes they are burdened by the sickness for the rest of their lives. They will always feel some kind of pain in one way or the other. These initiates abantwana benkulu, they are very sick people. So their lives are an endless battle between Rabophelo and Ralihu. They work closely with these two forces. One can even say that they are masters of these two forces. When we go back to the symbology of the cloth, we can see that there are two serpents that are directly facing each other. These are the forces of Rabophelo and Ralihu, Usompilo noSokufa. In fact, all these serpents are telling us a very deep secret through the law of as above, so below. And it is basically telling us that the same cosmic forces that we know as Rabophelo and Ralihu are the very same forces that we know as sickness and health. There's a lot to be said here. There are a lot of mysteries here, and again, we're going to get into that. Looking back at the cloth and the symbols, we see that this is not just any serpent, it is a cobra, which is a royal serpent. The cobra is an ancient symbol of royalty, and even in ancient Kemet, in ancient Egypt, the cobra was the symbol of royalty. So these healers are royal people, and in fact, when you activate umbilini, the kundalini, you become royal by default, whether you descend from a royal family or not. Before these cloths were created, initiates would carry a staff with a coiled serpent to represent the fact that they are fully activated energy healers or sanusis or sangomas. Some would wear a headband made out of snake skin to symbolize that they are sanusis or sangomas. Some initiates would carry an ankh that has a serpent coiling around it. The Khoisan Sanusis and the Tonga Sanusis are one of the people that used to carry such a sacred symbol, especially the staff. The Tonga and the Khoisan are one of the master Sanusis of Africa. They can femba like nobody's business. In fact, the Khoisans are the custodians of Ubungoma. They are the original Sangomas, and they still practice the most ancient form of Ubungoma. The type of Ubungoma that is associated with this cloth, one that has to do strictly with energy healing, where there's no herbs, there's no bones, nothing tangible, just energy at work. They use energy for divination and energy for healing. Amandawe are not the only tribe that can femba. The Khoisans are the masters of Ugufemba, plus the Tonga healers are also very good when it comes to this. The Tonga initiates are the descendants of the holy ones of Kariba, and the initiates, as an initiate of this cloth, you must study your lineage by studying the mysteries of the holy ones of Kariba and the mysteries of the Khoisans. In fact, I would recommend all healers to make it a point to visit the Khoisan healers just to dance with them, because these are the elders of your lineage. They are the custodians of Ubusanyusi and Ubungoma. They are the last remaining original Sangomas. The Abatwa do not use muti like Amandawe in order to femba or to awaken the spirit. They just use the drum. The Khoisans have what we can call healing dances, where they sing and dance the whole night, and during these dances they go into trances, or rather they awaken the Kundalini, Umbilini, and then they heal people in that dance. They speak of the Ngum, and they say when they dance they activate the Ngum. And this cloth symbolizes the Ngum, exactly. It is actually the Kundalini energy. It is the Umbilini energy. So if you dream of this cloth, it means you are an initiate who can actually femba, right? You can go into trances in and out, and you can heal people through umoya during that trance. The initiates of this cloth are the gifted dancers. Abantu abagidayo, they are the gifted singers. They can sing to raise the spirit. Some people are gifted in ukugida, ancestral dancing. You find that such initiates are good and very active when it comes to dancing and channeling the spirit, but when it comes to learning or using herbs, they slack. These are the type of initiates that should be taught how to sharpen their gifts of dancing, because there are specific mysteries that are specifically connected with the sacred dancer, who is a pure Sangoma and a pure Sanyusi, because when they dance, they can also heal, exactly like the Khoisans. Such dancers are connected to the mysteries of the song and the mysteries of the sacred drum. Some initiates who belong to this cloth don't really sing or dance, but they beat the drum. When they beat the drum, their umbilini, their kundalini gets activated. In most cases, you find that the dancer is also good with beating the drum, and they are also good in singing. These are the descendants of the Ingoma Lungundu, the children of the great sacred drum. Some initiates don't beat the drum, and they don't dance, but they sing. And when they sing, they raise their kundalini. That's why a lot of people who are musically creative, right, whether they are modern beat makers or singers or stage dancers or instrumentalists, etc., they are mostly gifted people who can trance easily, as they are connected with the song, they are connected with ingoma. And to an extent, they use the trance when they perform their craft. They get very entranced. This is but a minor trance, right, on their part. And it is the type of trance that we usually call inspiration. Some people channel the spirit when they write songs or rap or poetry. There's that thing that is called automatic writing, where you channel spirit messages through writing. These are the mysteries of the artist, the healer, and the God-man. So basically, all forms of channeling and all forms of mediumship, all forms of trancing fall under this cloth. Some people may even use meditation. They may use sound frequencies such as alpha state sounds or isochronic tones like the 369 frequency hertz, etc. Basically, sorry, there are basically many ways to get you to trance. Abathandazi also fall under this cloth because the true mthandazi uvukwa umoya makethandaza. A person who is gifted in prayer is able to raise his spirit, his umbilini, using prayer. They can trance as deep as someone ogitai and end up speaking languages that they don't know, right? And they can also heal you through prayer as they are trancing. Empaths also belong to this cloth, right? Because empaths are very sensitive to energy. They usually anchor people's energy without even trying to do so, without even knowing how to do so. The gift of an empath is either the beginning stages of awakening umbilini, or it is the result of having a kundalini experience. It works in both ways. On my previous video about the mysteries of the Ankh, I spoke about the gift of Ugunuga, the ability to divine using your nose, and how it's associated with the Sanyusi. These are one of the gifts that belong to this cloth, and the symptoms of this gift has to do with sinuses. When you have problems with your sinus, it means your nose is sensitive, and it is sensitive to energy. You can use your nose to divine. It's the same with seers who have problems with their sight. The crazy thing is that when we look at the word sinus, it is similar to the word sanusi. When this word is read in Zulu, it would be sinus, as in sinusi. Thus, even in the wording of these two words, we see that the sanusi and the sinus are actually associated. The sanusi uses his sinus to sense energy, and people with sinuses are people who actually snore. These are people who continuously pronounce the word Ankh when they are sleeping. So they are connected with the Ankh in their own special way. They can turn themselves into an Ankh. In conclusion, let us recap. The people of this cloth are Abantwana Benkulu, like I said, the children of the sacred sickness, the sick healers, those who get sick as a calling to become healers. The initiates of this cloth are gifted healers who heal specifically with energy. They work with the kundalini, the umbilini. The initiates of this cloth are the true sangomas, they are the true sanyusis, because they specifically work with raising the spirit, umoya, for healing. They are the gifted singers, the gifted dancers, the gifted drummers. They can sing until they sing a foreign song. They can dance until they dance a foreign dance. They can drum until they play a foreign rhythm. And they can pray until they speak a foreign language. They are musically gifted. They are the children of the song. They work closely with the chakras, and they work closely with the kundalini. They are the royal people, abomakhosi bengoma, the masters of the sacred song. They are the gifted mediums, the gifted channelers, the gifted spirit talkers, the gifted empaths. Empathy is but the beginning level of a sanyusi or a sangoma. One of the symptoms of this gift is the sinuses, as I just said, and others which I didn't mention include back pains, shoulder pains, stomach aches, etc., all of which are energy points. And this includes pains on the legs. Traditionally, when you have such symptoms on the legs, it is said that inyawo or idlozi lifuna ukugida. The ancestors or the legs want to dance. Lastly, the sangoma and the sanyusi are the same. They just represent different levels of the same craft, but both these people are energy healers. Bakhanyisela, we've come to the end of our class for today. Rest assured that there's a lot more to say here. The mysteries of the healer, the Sanyusi, the Sangoma are very, very expansive. The lineage of healers goes very deep. Like all the other cloths, this cloth has its own mysteries, it has its own burdens, it has its own gifts, and it has its own initiation. Do tune into our next class. Of course, we'll be going deeper into these sacred cloths further, and we are unveiling their mystery. Zao.